Welcome back to the Stache Club Wrestling Podcast, folks. Thanks for being here. Happy to be here. My name is John.
My name is Jimmy.
We got a good one for you. We're coming off what I thought was a pretty weird Raw overall, and then a lot of stuff on SmackDown. We're going to get right into it. But before we do, please check out the Patreon, patreon.com/StacheClubWrestling for a whole bonus wrestling Q&A podcast over there. We have merchandise in the description, and if you're looking at getting a piece of WWE gear, we have a affiliate link with Fanatics in the description. So if you use our link, it gets a little kickback to the show and helps us out. I feel like that's all the plugs. Jimmy, how are we? How we feeling? The sun's out. Things are good. The legs are out, baby.
Yeah, we got the shorts going. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not just a loudmouth talking in shorts. You know, shout out McAfee. It is a pretty crazy promo last night. I'm still your SCW champion. So that feels pretty darn good.
As if there was like a pay-per-view in between.
yeah, you know. Just in
Don't worry, I still got it.
There was no cash in the Money in the Bank. There was no 24/7 rule. I'm still the champion. It's a friendly reminder out there for all y'all.
I've been replying in the comments because people are like, where's the SCW championship? And I'm like, well, here's what happened. Sophie won it. Then Jimmy won it at WrestleMania. And now it's being defended for PLEs. And like I said, we're going to figure out like quizzes and stuff and like how it's going to be defended. But right now it's currently a PLE thing. But don't you get too comfy because May 10th, Backlash, we're going to talk about today. Oof. Not fully. It's not like it's predictions or nothing. But you're putting that to first title defense.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Huge. I am the Logan Paul to your Jey Uso.
Okay, all right.
All right, let's get right into it. We're actually going to start all the way back at SmackDown because we had a really great John Cena, Randy Orton promo. Randy comes in before Cena can even get a word out. Orton's saying, which is funny how the roles are kind of flipped now, you know, X amount of years later. John, you should be a father like me. You should have kids. It'll change your life. You can settle down. It'll make you a better person. Cena says he doesn't want kids because he's been raising these audiences brats for 25 years. He started laying into a kid at ringside. Like, he went back to him like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, definitely off the cusp, you know. That poor child.
You can tell how much fun Cena's having. And Randy trying not to break in the corner.
Yeah, what a trip for him. You know, 25-year relationship going back and forth. And now the dynamics are completely switched.
It's awesome. Yeah. Cena attacks Orton. Orton ends up getting the bigger, the better hand. Stands tall after hitting an RKO. Official Cena versus Randy set for Backlash for the undisputed WWE Championship. Funny that, and I think this is gonna play into a story, but like, funny how Cena like is never standing tall. He got hit with 2 crossroads going into Mania on 2 different occasions. Now he's getting hit with an RKO being laid out. I think that's part of the story of like why he needs the help of a Travis Scott or like whatever. So I'm curious what Backlash is gonna be. I've heard both sides of like, so I've heard pros and cons about this match, but like bare minimum, Cena versus Randy Orton main eventing a pay-per-view in 2025 is electric.
Yeah.
You know, how can I complain?
Yeah, much needed for this John Cena tour. One last go with these two. One of the probably closest thing we've gotten to Rock Austin ever since those two retired. And yeah, like you said, too, it's definitely odd seeing that anytime that the 120-pound rapper Travis Scott ain't around, John Cena is laying on his back. Kind of the same pose, too, almost every week, too.
He's just
taking a nap, you
flat
know,
laid out.
He got a little bit of offense in right before Randy took him out, which was those kicks, whatever. But yeah, I mentioned the dynamics too of like, you know, bad guy John and good guy Randy. But that Randy comment of the whole, you know, having a family thing kind of triggered me a little bit. And it's like, you kind of turn the bad guy for a second, you know, family shaming Cena for not having a kid. But Cena did a great job of making it like, oh yeah, you know, fair point too. He has been kind of like a father figure for many kids over the last 25 years, me included, and, you know, led by a great example. But yeah, I'm fired up for this matchup. I mean, it's in Randy's hometown of St. Louis. That's going to create a whole aura about this match. And, you know, my critique of like kind of the Cena heel turn is like the crowd still loves him. Listen, that not in St. Louis. This is going to be be like One Night Stand 2005 levels of like they're going to be booing John Cena at the yin yang. I thought kind of a cool moment in this promo segment too, where Randy kind of said the whole royal family comment. I was saying like, yeah, when Cody's theme song hits and wrestling has more than one royal family, he's talking about not just the Rhodes, but the Ortons too.
That's my family too.
That hit for me.
It's interesting that this is happening so quick. And again, not complaining about it. It just so happens that St. Louis is the next city after Mania. I feel like if we weren't going to St. Louis right after, we'd kind of hold off on Orton. Because this is like what people have been waiting for. So I'm surprised it's the first feud. I'm happy it's here. I understand some of the, I don't want to say criticism, but some of the, the cons where there's been kind of, I don't know if you want to call them reports, but this has been some statements made about Cena. People saying like, well, he is kind of showing his age. Like he isn't John Cena of old. Orton is also a lot older. Like I think people need to temper their expectations for this match because it's not. And let's call it how it is. The amount of times Cena and Orton have faced each other, it's a great rivalry. It's one of the greatest wrestling feuds of all time.
Totally.
It's not like they were having 5-star matches at, all these Armageddons and, whatever.
Bragging rights. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So now that these two are much older, like it's going to be fun. It's going to be a nostalgia hit, which I am buckled in for.
Probably
I love it.
A lot of callbacks.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure a ton of that. I'm sure some old moves will get busted out. Randy's probably going to tease the punt. But I think we do need just got to be a little realistic about old man Cena, old man Orton. Old man seem mean, but you know what I mean. In 2025,
Yeah, I'm going back to the Mania match. It definitely felt clear to me that Cody kind of slowed down in that match, and John, it was needed. Like John definitely, isn't the spring chicken he used to be. Definitely doesn't do this full time anymore. Like God can only imagine how difficult it is doing it full time, and then stop doing it full time, and then you're back on the grandest scale of them all in the main event. So. But these guys are wrestling soulmates in a lot of ways, and I think it is kind of sudden. It's kind of where is Cody? I guess Cody's kind of going off.
I'm glad he's taking time. I'm glad he's away. I'm glad he's away.
It wasn't really addressed, but maybe it doesn't need to be. We'll see Cody when we see him. But as of right now, though, Cena versus Orton, very excited for the shot.
Me too.
The shot of nostalgia in my arm that I desperately craved after the sour taste of WrestleMania main event.
All right, next of the night, we had FRAXIOM debuting on the main roster, defeating Los Garzas. I don't know what we're doing with Los Garzas. This isn't really about Los Garzas, but they were really in the mix in the tag title hunt, and then that got dropped off Mania, and they just kind of got forgotten about. However, FRAXIOM debuting, big fan.
Yeah.
Nathan Frazier is I don't understand how he's like the fastest person in the ring. It's insane. Obviously trained by Seth Rollins, so he hits all those like the same spinny moves and shit. I love it. I'm as hot as the SmackDown tag division is. I'm excited for FRAXIOM just get thrown in there. When you compare it to the Raw tag team division, it's night and day. It really is. How you feeling about FRAXIOM?
I'm completely in the dark about them for their NXT run. The only thing I would see bits and pieces online of them, and also too I pay attention to New Legacy Inc. and they're at a thing for a while where in the video games, like anytime they would face FRAXIOM in Universe mode, they would change the attire of whoever FRAXIOM beat. So like I kind of never understood like FRAXIOM as a gimmick, whatever.
Okay.
Do you have any lore for me for like their NXT run or whatever? I mean, I know they're longtime NXT champs, and like their friendship though kind of seems a bit random, no?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And I'm gonna get this wrong. They were put together for some sort of like last minute put together for some tournament, maybe some cup.
The Dusty Cup.
That's might be what it was, and it was very much just like we need a team. We'll throw these two guys together, and they just like work great together, and we're super over. Ended up sticking around, won the tag titles. I think they lost them and then got them back, but still like a monumental run combined with the NXT tag titles. And then just like super, super talented.
This was my first kind of like, not my first match of watching these guys, but Hurricanrana's out the wing wang. We had drop kicks. Nathan Senton was very good. Axiom's moonsault, fire. And then the end of the match, you had the Spanish Fly and the Phoenix Splash. And this tag team division, I mean, of course, a bit unfortunate for Los Garzas. I mean, they're kind of start, and now are in a role of like advancing the new talent, or whatever. But I thought it was a very effective match, and it made me super interested to see where FRAXIOM goes from here for sure.
I saw a comment about how funny it is because, like I said, I'm 90% sure Nathan Frazier is trained by Seth.
Yes, I think
or at least in Seth's school.
Yep.
And what's that move? The movie just said the spin, the one he does a bunch of the
Phoenix Splash.
The Phoenix Splash.
Yeah.
It's funny how Seth Rollins, the mentor, he's never hit that move. Never has hit that move. Nathan Frazier, it's the first time I've ever seen the Phoenix Splash land. You know
what's so fair is because I'd actually seen that video online. It was kind of discussing what you just said. Like Seth never hits that Phoenix Splash, but apparently in Ring of Honor when he was Tyler Black would hit it like every single time, and it looks awesome. But like also like I guess maybe the person since the WWE they don't want to take that impact or whatever because it definitely does seem like he never hits it.
It's also I guess it's a good like it's a good one of those moves to just like. He rolls out of it so well, so I feel they're just like oh, just I don't know, roll out of it every time.
Cooler. It's almost cooler for him not to hit the move.
Yeah, he like lands on his feet and rolls out. So I don't know. All right, moving on. We have Naomi interrupting Jade Cargill in a match against Tiffany Stratton. Afterward, Nia Jax comes out, attacks Tiffany. So direction here, as I believe you were kind of speculating post Mania or during Mania, that we're not done with this Naomi Jade stuff, but. It seems like the first challenger for Tiffany coming out of Mania is Nia Jax. I'm not excited about it. Not even from like a stereotypical Nia Jax hating perspective, because I'm not really a Nia Jax hater just for the sake of it being a Nia Jax hater. However, like I get it, on paper they do have history. Like Tiffany was like under Nia's wing, and then that's who she cashed in on. Or whatever, or like she cashed on Nia, right?
Yeah.
She cashed. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Get my story straight. So like it makes sense for Nia to go after her. I'm just not super excited. Like with everyone else on the roster, that we can see a fresh opponent for Tiffany to go after and have like just a different style of match. Right now, post Mania doesn't seem like time for Nia. I'd be down to revisit it a little later.
Yeah,
but we're getting it now. It'll be fine. We're still getting Naomi Jade to wrap more stuff up, but this was fine. It just kind of drew the lines, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I almost even rather just run it back with Charlotte, have another match with Charlotte. If that's
do the little rematch or something.
To build the next program, but maybe they're saving that down the line too. Yeah, I mean, Nia kind of like, I thought Tiffany was kind of past this whole Nia thing, but it still was pretty shocking. But god damn you, we got Jade versus Tiffy on free television.
I know.
I couldn't believe this. I was like, wait, whoa, what are we doing here? Slow it down. These are two megastars, two of my favorites in the women's division. I was like, wait. Let's calm down here, folks. But and who's to say? I still enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, it was good.
Great. Of course, the viral meme of the front row all checking out Jade was.
I saw that.
Even that like soccer mom too was like, oh wow.
I think she quote tweeted it. She quote tweeted it saying like good. Or
I don't
something.
mind. Yeah, I don't mind. You can look, but you certainly can't touch. But but yeah, this ring was good. I thought it was like they were trading some dance moves, like a wrestling prom almost, and another. Tiffy had a bit of a spill towards the moonsault. She kind of jumped up, but she recovered gracefully in like a professional. Again, mind you, she's been doing this for 4 years. Jade hasn't been doing this for too long in this huge spot on SmackDown. I thought it was great. Two larger-than-life characters. And then we saw another devastating power bomb from Jade, kind of reminiscing of the WrestleMania match with Naomi. So, and then we got Naomi attacking Jade, and then now Nia with Tiffy. So we kind of see where we're going with these feuds. But you tell you what, though, I would love for them to revisit this feud of Jade and Tiffy down the road.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah,
what I even liked about this match, because these are two people that never faced each other, and you could tell there was a little bit like building chemistry. Like they're so new, they don't know how to work with each other. They
unsmooth.
Which I think that added to it because it tells that story of like, oh, these are two of the top women. They'd never face each other. And they're clashing a little bit, and they're working it out, which I think like it's just interesting to see from a viewer perspective, in terms of like the work rate and like okay, like like you said, like there was some little mishaps and some things they recovered from, but like ultimately there was never anything that was like, you know what I mean? So like, I'm excited. I'm with you. I'm excited for these two to kind of lock up again, kind of build that chemistry and kind of see where they can go from here. So I think like there's like sparks of like, oh, there's something here. There's something here,
Yes. I think so, for sure.
All right, we'll move on to this United States Championship sort of picture here. We got Jacob and Solo out there. Solo is kind of taking credit for Jacob's title win. Jacob, as is tradition at this point, takes the mic. Yada mean. He's talking his shit. It's great. LA Knight and Drew McIntyre come in. They're talking their shit. Long story short, we're going to get a A little later in the night, I'm going to lump into all this, is we're getting Drew McIntyre versus LA Knight for the to earn a #1 contendership for the United States Championship. Solo ends up attacking Knight. Damian Priest comes in, puts Drew through a table. So this whole thing kind of ended in no contest. Ended with Jacob Fatu kind of standing tall, putting everyone else who was standing away. So I think what we're leading to is multi-man at Backlash for the U.S. title. Give the U.S. title some love.
Yes,
I like this picture. Yeah. I do. I really do. What do you think?
My thought. Give me that. I need it for Christmas. Solo Oakland Raiders jersey.
It looks sick.
Fire. Wearing it backwards, dope. like an absolute menace to society. America's Most Wanted. Jacob Fatu. Solo. You better get in where you fit in, pal.
So good.
Oh my
He's
god.
So good.
Little bro and Solo was really popped me. Out comes LA Knight. The pop's still there. The feeling's still there, even though he's coming off a title loss. And then Drew comes out and he complains, even though I'm tall, jacked, and handsome, and I have these big guns, which is a problem I can relate to.
Life
totally
sucks for me.
It ain't always rainbows and butterflies for Drew. He sometimes gets unfair treatment. I thought this segment was great. I also too like how Drew mentioned I actually was going to challenge John Cena, but Randy jumped the line. I like when wrestlers, express their goals and desires, even if they right now necessarily aren't able to do that on TV. Like Drew pointed, because again, if you're a wrestler in the WWE, your goal ultimately is become the world champion.
Right.
So for him to say that, kind of to be like, Randy jumped the line, and kind of added that to the promo. Really, I thought was really great.
Because you would think like Drew's coming off of a win at Mania, so you think that kind of bumps him up a little bit. So he's like, I feel I was next in line. Randy jumped the gun because he's Randy, or jumped the line, I should say. My only critique is, it's not a true critique, because I don't love that Drew McIntyre is in the U.S. title picture. I think the U.S. title picture is perfect for an LA Knight, a Solo, a Jacob. Drew's a multi-time former champion. He should be in the world title picture, as he even alluded to. So there's points there. But on the other side of that coin, where is the reason I'm not taking such a hard stance, because at least Drew's on TV. Yeah. At least Drew is in a title picture. Sure, I would. If I don't have the pen, but if it was up to me, he'd have a more prominent main event feud, or he'd be kind of closer to the title, whatever. Cena's got the title on SmackDown. Jey's got the world title doing stuff on Raw. There's no real fit for Drew right now. I get it. So at bare minimum, he's fighting for a title, which is fine. It does just feel like a little bit of a step down.
I totally agree. But Drew tried to justify it too. He goes, Cena now is a complete chump. He's a fraud himself. I want to fight the toughest dog in the yard. And who's the toughest dog in the yard than Jacob Fatu? Nah, I mean, oh, dude.
And that goes to what you were saying of how good Drew is at justifying his actions and giving reasons. Because that's the whole thing. It's why wouldn't he want to go after Cena? It's because I see Jacob as the biggest threat now. That's who I want, and it is for Jacob
too. By doing that, I think him versus LA Knight has some legs too, because going back to the Rumble where they had that kind of real life kind of odd spot elimination. The dirt sheets kind of all speculated what's going on. Is Drew actually mad? Drew loves working the sheets and making it kind of real life things and in-ring things kind of mean more than they do. And some of their promos back and forth, I'm like, this kind of feels real, and which is of course wrestling's the best when it feels real. So I think LA Knight versus Drew has some legs.
I'll tell you this, just to combat you a little bit. LA Knight in this looked like a dork to me. I just hit I'm not jumping on the train of he sounds like The Rock, he sounds like Stone Cold, because which isn't it's I never understood that argument, because it's hey, you sound like two of the greatest of all time on the mic. It's I'll take that every single day. I didn't like him. I don't know. There was something about it that him laying across the ropes felt a lot of it felt forced. A lot of it felt oh, you're trying to be the cool guy. There's no one that I ebb and flow on more than LA Knight.
Sure. Okay.
When I like him, I'm like, this guy's sick. This guy's sick. But then there's something that he does or something that I fall back down, and I'm just like, why is he wearing Timberlands with these skinny ass jeans? What is that, you know?
Hell yeah. He came out too, and like this happens to him every once in a while. He on the promo, he's a great promo, great talker.
He is.
He did come out a little flustered a little bit. Sometimes that happens to him, but to me that just adds to the realness of what he's saying to me, and it feels off the cusp, and like you never know what's gonna be said or done or whatever. But yeah, I think it's a valid criticism. It's tough though being the good guy. I'm telling you, and being cool while being the good guy.
That's the thing. Yeah. He would work, which I'm surprised they haven't leaned like more heel, because he has such a heel way of talking. Where like I feel like if he like him cutting a heel promo, like he could dig. Yeah, you know. So like I'm surprised they haven't leaned into it. Granted, it's because he is so over and whatever. But I know it's just me being nitpicky. Yeah. All right, we'll move on to ZELINA Vega surprisingly on free TV defeats Chelsea Green to become your new Women's United States Champion, her first singles title in WWE. I am so happy. If you know this show, you know it's always been a ZELINA Vega pro show. Long overdue, well deserved. There's no one in the company that deserves it more than her. She's put in the work. She's a veteran at this point. I'm over the moon for her. I really. And Chelsea, like the dance partner, great worker. Sold the code red.
Yeah, code red.
Sold the code red great. Which I think, just given the size difference, is sometimes often hard to, make look smooth. I love that Chelsea's kind of playing into like now, like she's no longer Madam President. What made her Madam President was the U.S. title. Absolutely. So she tweeted out like, I'm taking time away from office. I don't know. She tweeted something out that was like alluding to that.
The flag at half mast, kind of like signing off.
So funny. I love everything about this. This is awesome. The Secret Harvest still have legs. Like, if they want to keep going with maybe like, she's a president that got kicked out of office sort of thing. But also I'm so happy for ZELINA Vega.
Oh, me too. And it was a huge moment. Definitely unexpected. Like after she hit the code red, I'm like, Chelsea's gonna kick out.
I was shocked.
Oh my god!
I was shocked.
Like, whoa. Definitely a long time coming. I think it was maybe 2 years ago now. Her reaction in Puerto Rico at Backlash, like that moment right there was like kind of the peak, and we kind of waiting for her to kind of reach that euphoria again. But yeah, I'm so glad she did, and I think too Chelsea might get it back eventually. Who knows?
I think that's crazy.
They've been not trying, but they've been more prone to having title changes kind of more often, especially in the women's. The IC title recently changed. The tag team titles recently changed. So I could see maybe them doing some flip-flopping.
Plus, like, the Madam President thing is so over where it's like, it's hard to let that go.
Oh, yeah.
But I hope ZELINA, even if Chelsea gets it back or whatever, I hope ZELINA has a solid run with it. I want to see some defenses.
Heck yeah.
I really hope they give her the run that she deserves, and it's not just like a one-off or like a whatever. But I'm stoked. I'm really, really stoked. Honestly, do what everyone does with like the United States Championship or any sort of form of, over on WWE or AEW was like the international, whatever. Make it like the Puerto Rican Championship or something.
Ooh.
Have a run with it. Change the flag color.
Yeah.
I guess not the colors, but you know what I mean.
I love that idea.
And right after, which I thought this is just a mwah, her husband, Aleister Black, returns, which just what a 1-2. You right after your wife wins her first world title, you make your return on the same show. The Miz comes out, he's doing classic Miz whatever, which I love that Miz, like the Miz gets a lot of hate because people get worked by his heel promo, his heel shtick, but you see him always put in a spot like this. And how solid of a worker he is. He is trusted by the company. So for a returning or a debuting guy, you put the Miz out there, you get the returning or debuting guy over, and you can count on the Miz. Anyway, Aleister Black comes in, takes him out with a spinning kick. He's still got his fucked up eye. He has his old theme song, which fucking rocks.
Yes.
I am buckled up for hopefully a solid Aleister Black run. I'm crossing my fingers. How you feel about Aleister coming back?
Super hyped. Yeah. Love Aleister Black's work at NXT, and then even when he didn't have a long stay on the main roster, of course, then went to NXT. NXT AEW. Grossly misused over there, in my opinion. I think only had like 15 total singles matches in his run in AEW, which is Banana Land.
And like at least like to a little bit of credit, like I like House of Black, but like it was unfortunate to not see a lot of singles runs, and like so, and the House of Black also, like, it'd be hot and then cooled off, and then hot, you know.
I was super interested in the Malachi Cody feud way back when, but I think Malachi actually persevered in that feud. But I digress. You know, not to live in the past, but you know, it definitely is something that now that he's back, let's see what he can cook. Definitely another guy that has, you know, kind of spooky underlying tendencies. So we'll see how if there's any connection to, you know, Wyatt Six or Karrion Kross, or maybe, you know, you kind of have a lot of similarities in of like the dark, spooky, you know, netherworld, if you will, of those characters. I thought too, like you said, kudos to Miz. You need guys like Miz on the roster for these moments to set up the new returning star. Also, shout out Carmelo for winning the Andre the Memorial Battle Royal. You see the Andre chain?
Oh yeah, it's a massive head. Oh my god, big old
Andre gold chain. Hope he rocks that going forward for the next few weeks, next few shows. I love to see Melo versus Black at Backlash.
Down for that, sure. I'm down for that. I think Aleister Black is a great addition. I mean, you even look at like the rest of the U.S. title picture. Like you throw Aleister Black in with any of those, like. Yeah, they're doing some good stuff. I like the roster over there. Yeah, I'm excited to see. I don't have much else to say about it unless I'm just excited to see where Aleister Black goes from here. I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
What a night for that lovely couple.
I know, it's so sick.
They must have kissed a lot after.
Cool. You know? I think they were on because ZELINA Vega has a Twitch stream. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, nice.
And I saw a clip going around. I was on stream. I didn't listen to it, but I think it was just like ZELINA had her title. She like showed it to Black, and he said they just had like a funny like quip or whatever. I'll have to rewatch it again. I didn't see the whole thing, but yeah, really, really cool. Big fan. We'll move on to what I'm another big fan of is the Street Profits retain their tag team titles in one of the best TLC matches I've ever seen, defeating DIY and Motor City Machine Guns. This was just 200 miles an hour, and I'm not going to sound like a broken record. We'll get it out of the way. It should have been on Mania. It should have been on Mania.
You know what? Yes, it's a damn shame that, you know, the WWE didn't have an advertisement thing with guns or red Solo cups or what's the what did you shave your mustache with?
Oh, the Phillips One blade.
Yeah, for Casino Ciampa, you know, recently.
This was still sponsored by Clash of Clans.
Was it really?
Yeah.
No kidding. But you know, given to revise it, maybe they wouldn't have gotten this much time if it was on WrestleMania. Also,
it's much of a spotlight.
It's much of a spotlight.
It would have just kind of been in the middle somewhere.
So while ultimately I do agree with that sentiment, I can see how this may have benefited the situation.
I agree.
A little bit.
I don't disagree.
Yeah,
especially because like and the other side, there's this to that same argument, and I agree with too, is like you need big, because if this didn't happen on SmackDown, we'd also be complaining about like, they never have fun matches on SmackDown. They never have big matches on SmackDown. The fact we got, granted, I think because there's so much criticism because it was in lieu of it not being on Mania. But in general, the fact that we got a TLC match for the tag titles on a SmackDown is electric. We saw Montez use someone's prosthetic leg.
Right, you keep calling it a TLC. It's a TLC PL match.
TLC. Oh, prosthetic leg.
Joe Test. Credit to my man Joe Test.
Did he say that?
Immediately.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
It's a TLC PL match.
Which kind of, I don't want to go into,
awesome.
I don't want to go into too much, but then there's kind of some discussion of like, oh, was he a plant? You know, because I guess the JD from New York, kind of a heat magnet, kind of pointed out this is a very similar spot to there was an In Your House show with Diesel and Shawn Michaels, who Shawn Michaels is Montez dressed up as.
Yeah, yes, he did.
So maybe that could have been, but who cares at that point? A great fun ass.
I saw
moment.
that person also posted a video on Twitter that ended up going super crazy of like, they used my prosthetic leg.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's a plan or not.
It was
awesome.
Know.
Yeah. I loved it. I'll stay in my belief that it was authentic.
Heck
it makes me like it more. Loved that. Super funny. I mean, the spot of the night was an ode to TLC 2 when this happened. I want to say it was TLC 2.
I think you're right. 17.
The spear, a la Jeff Hardy Edge. From a hanging Ciampa, Angelo Dawkins, big man, getting up there, speared him, and like one-upping the spot, not one-upping it, but adding more to it through the table.
Right.
Oh my God.
I think Jeff actually probably would have preferred there to be a table.
I would imagine. I'm sure Jeff was looking at that being like, one, proud, two, damn, I wish we had a table. This was, I loved that it was Dawkins.
Yeah.
Fucking all the weight on his knee. Like totally landed on his
for
knee.
For sure. Did not look good.
And there was there's so many spots in this match. This was so good. One of my favorite matches of recent memory. One of the best TLC matches I've ever seen. Yeah. Do you have anything that stands out?
So nice. I had to watch it twice.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Yeah. I mean, it was just so much. Ciampa's white noise on the bridge ladder.
Oh, really good.
And just so much more. I mean, I have so many notes here, but I mean, if you're watching this, you must have watched the match and know how special it was. Mm-hmm. And what a moment for the Street Profits. I think too.
Yeah, I'm so glad they retained.
Yeah, I mean, I think this could be definitely. I feel like I might be a broken record a little bit by saying this, but like definitely something for Montez Ford to look back and be like, this was a start of something for me.
Yeah.
as a bigger star. Because I think a lot of us all have been waiting for that, and not to dismiss the fact that they're still the reigning defending tag team champions, and they're still a tag team with Dawkins, who had that great spot, and who also has a lot of potential.
Yep, Dawkins doing a great job as always of proving like, hey, I'm still right there with him. Like Montez just has that little flair that you can't teach, but like Dawkins is right there with him in ring. DIY look great. Like you were saying, Motor City Machine Guns look great.
Yeah, what an addition the Motor City Machine Guns have been.
Oh, they've been
SmackDown.
awesome. They've been so good. And the fact that they're veterans and adding this much oomph to the division, unsurprisingly, has been really great.
And to maybe go back to the whole this match being off Mania, perhaps I don't know what those two men's goals are, but maybe keeps them hungry for let's get on the Mania card next year and let's keep this momentum going all the way to next year's Mania. And another thing too, like the Kofi and the War Raiders, like. And this is not to disparage the New Day, one of the greatest tag teams of all time, but who's to say they ever get a tag team match on Mania again? I mean, it's kind of a stretch.
Sure, yeah.
But like, given that like they were almost off the card this year, like you want to reward two veterans that were huge in the last 10 years. So maybe that's another reason.
I loved the spot of Montez springboarding onto the ladder at the end, him like climbing up the side to try to get it.
Yeah.
And like you said, I really want to give a spotlight to him. Him coming out dressed as Shawn Michaels was unreal, with the heart kind of over top and the tights with the zebra print. Dawkins kind of matching him with the same colorway. Unreal. I'm very excited. And again, as we were saying earlier, now we have the addition of FRAXIOM into this whole division. We're on fire here. We're looking good.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm ready to move on to Raw if you are set.
Let's do it.
All right, over on Raw, we start out. I'm just going to lump everything into one for the Sami, Bron, Seth stuff. But to kick off the show, we have Seth coming out saying he's leading the charge of the industry. With him at the helm, with Braun Paul by his side, he is leading the future of the industry, and blah blah. So far, hasn't said anything that I disagree with or that I think is totally bad. Sami comes out. Sami has a problem with Seth. All this is pretty unclear to me until, and I think this is all a good thing. It was a well told story, because it wasn't just given to you outright. But for the whole night, as they're going back with Sami backstage, I'm kind of just like, Seth hasn't done anything bad yet.
Right.
Seth's just saying, I want to lead the charge. I want the best for the company. And, I'm going to bring everyone with me. I'm going to do the best for the company. And then, but saying get out of my way. A little bit of threat of get out of my way. But just a threat. Nothing nothing past that. And then we'll kind of get to what's full circle, which I ended up, at the end of the night, I was like, okay, there it is. There's the reasoning. So anyway, they talk, which I love this. They're talking about how they're friends, how their kids have play dates together. Really, really great stuff. And real stuff that I think was cool to add into this.
Definitely.
We had at kind of toward the end here. Now Seth is gives him the warning I was alluding to. I'm just I'm gonna do all this stuff. He's basically begging him, please don't get in my way, because we're gonna run you over. I don't want that for you. Please get out of my way. Sami just being the hero to take on anyone. is still going to stand in his way. He says his ultimatum with Sami was move to SmackDown and you'll be safe and Bron won't kill you.
And a world title shot, apparently.
Right, because then later on, Paul Heyman, as we see with... I like this was told throughout the whole night. Paul Heyman sits down with Sami. What do they call it? Sweetens the pot a little bit. Says, if you move to SmackDown, I'll get you a guaranteed WWE title shot.
What?
Absolutely. I'll take that any day.
I was saying, like, through my TV screen, like, Sami, like,
It's a great
know
deal.
you're a prideful person, whatever. You're kind of getting bullied off your own show, but this is a good deal. Take it.
You don't get murdered by Braun Breaker,
Yeah.
and you get a guaranteed world title shot against an old Cena or an old Orton.
Right.
I'll take that any day.
Accomplish your life's goal right then and there. But
Take
of
that
course,
any day.
he would later address that.
So then we move on to Sami saying his giving his decision. What's he gonna do? Sami basically tells him no, go to hell. And this is where we kind of got, because like up until now, I'm like, what's the problem? Like, what's really the problem? Sami's just like, I'm not gonna let you bully me. I've been bullied all this time. I'm not gonna just step aside. I liked, like, you know, you dangled the carrot. A lot of it was saying, like, you're good at manipulating people.
Yeah.
You're a mastermind. You're good at manipulating people. You dangled the carrot that is the world title in front of me. That's eluded me my whole career, and you know that.
Yeah.
And you use that personal information to try and manipulate me, and I didn't like that.
No.
I'm gonna get the world title on my own. I'm gonna earn it on my own. And toward the end of his he got really, really passionate, which is where Sami thrives. Seth was just like, he was disappointed. He was like, I don't want to do this. You're my friend. I don't want to do this. And then that fucking siren hit. Ooh, what a shot. And this monster of Braun Breaker comes out super tan.
Looking like a honey baked ham.
Yeah, him and Paul.
Yeah.
Paul was pretty tan too.
Both going to the same LA Fitness and going in the booth, I guess.
Paul like being over his like this look is so fucking good. And not concerned, but I just want, and we're doing a good job at it so far. I just don't want to slip into Braun Breaker being this like dumb beefhead. You know what I mean? Because I think we can accidentally slip into him just being the muscle. And while he isn't, he's great
For sure.
I still need him to be as charismatic and smart as he was with like his IC title reign on NXT, whatever.
Absolutely.
But anyway, to kind of wrap up this week and talk about it. Yeah. So anyway, this week we end up getting Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn. Braun Breaker fucking kills him. We had some good back and forth at the beginning. But then we got like 3 spears, a couple super spears, to which. As Braun Breaker's dismantling Sami, Seth is just like he still hates seeing Sami get hurt. He's like not even watching the match, just eyes forward. But every now and again would give like a nod to Braun of just like, do it. So how much does he really care? How much does whatever? It's all business. It's all business with Seth. Braun Breaker's in the ring. Sami at this point, the match like called off basically. Seth gives him just a very a la Rock, slits the throat. Braun ends up spearing him. This ends with a Seth Rollins stomp to Sami Zayn, and this is kind of where the culmination of the story is like, oh, here's what's wrong. Here's the manipulative Seth the whole time, and they're going to take out anyone in their way. They want to take over the industry, pushing the narrative that we're doing this for the greater good, and da-da-da. So this is where it kind of clicked and came full circle for me. But I talked a lot. I did a lot of explaining. I'm curious, where are you at with everything? What'd you like? What'd you dislike?
The future is now, my friend.
Yep.
We got the Barkatex.
Yep.
I gotta give credit to whoever's in your comments. You were like,
I saw that.
Whoever we do with this faction, please don't give them a dumb name. And someone's like, the Barkatex.
The Barkatex.
Which is dumb as hell, but I love it. It won't be the actual name because we haven't gotten a name for this alliance yet.
I don't think we need one. I don't know if we need one.
Not yet, at least. But yeah, this segment, this whole show long storyline with Sami was phenomenal. Sami Zayn gets you so invested. The modern day Mick Foley.
Agreed.
You know, I got some backlash where we did one of those, speak when you hear a better wrestler on the mic, and I ignored Sami for one of them, and this made me go like, damn, maybe I am sleeping on Sami Zayn on the stick, because man, I got fired up watching this on Netflix on this TV. Sami saying no, but the whole time, like, again, like, I saw some criticism of like, oh, he's kind of a dumb babyface for not taking that deal. But no, there's a thing about pride.
Yes, sir.
And there's this thing called integrity. And Sami Zayn is chock full of that.
Doesn't want no handouts.
Doesn't like being, like you said, the dangling of the carrot. Also bringing up the personal relationship of the kids and the family, all that stuff. Kind of like really... He saw it for what it was, which was him, Seth Rollins, being a manipulative douchebag, and being a power-hungry monster. But even in mid-match, again, the two mates just say this, too. I'm so happy we got a match instead of just a beatdown.
Yes.
So I was kind of like, here comes Bron Breakker. We're going to get a 2-on-1 beatdown, and maybe someone will come out for the save or whatever. But no, we got we're okay. You fucked up. Here's a match with Bron Breakker, and it was
prove yourself.
We got a little bit back and forth, but ultimately, we got that Zayn tornado DDT, almost got the upset, but then Paul Heyman looked worried as hell. But you know who didn't look worried even for a second? Seth Rollins, the stoic,
totally cool,
just totally cool, knew what was going to be happening very soon. 1 spear, 2 spear, 3 spear, and then of course the help. Which, like, I think you were watching the live stream. I was watching the live stream. You said EMTs, but it was actually Jamie Noble, kind of just completely just like set up for that 4 spear, which killed him.
Like, holding him up, and it's and they did it like twice, where they just kept like holding him up, or like even when like the stomp, they were like, oh, just get on your hands and knees and you'll be okay. Yeah. So funny.
Like if this is basketball, like that was the assist right there. But yeah, just Rollins offering it, mid-match, the same again. Like, here's the out, take the world title shot, give whatever Paul Heyman can give you. Was great storytelling, was so good. My only thing that again, RIP to Sami, gone to smithereens after 4 Bron Breakker spears and a curb stomp. And I can't get everything I want, but the crowd was chanting one more time.
Yeah.
And
it's tough.
It's very tough when you are, definitely heels, but you're so cool and you're badass, and like it definitely just hurt my heart, because I'm like, Sami is like the perfect white meat baby face for to get sympathy, which I felt super bad for, but I also can't even sit here and lie and say I wouldn't be losing my shit if I was at this Monday Night Raw going,
I know,
let's go, like it's 2 more times.
At the end of the day, it's Bron Breakker doing incredible things. Like he does, like that fucking Frankensteiner he does is like one of the coolest moves in wrestling. And then Seth is also just like coming off of the Mania win and this new faction. It's like, I love this. I not once left this being like, fuck this new faction. Like I am fully buckled in with this new faction, and not just like sound like a mark in the crowd or whatever, but I love this faction. I am ready to
join it.
I'm ready to join it. I'm hitching my wagon. I trust Seth, and I want to be taking on this ride to the future of the industry with him. You know what I mean?
Well, even going before Mania, he was making so many valid points for Paul to join him, and even now he's like, the future is me. Like, the guy who's been the pillar of this company for a long time. This guy Bron Breakker, who's a 3rd generation, 2nd generational talent, like of the likes we've never even seen. We're in Paul Heyman, one of the most brilliant minds. We're the future of the industry. Are we going to argue that at all? No. Right. No. So it's so cool, and it's hard for me to be like, to align myself with the crowd, like they were chanting one more time, because they want to see another badass broken spear, even if it's our beloved Sami Zayn.
I've been seeing discourse online. I haven't seen too much about it. I don't even know how much it's worth discussing now, but there's been some discussion about like, I thought once we left Vegas, we'd kind of be more tapped into the crowds doing their part. Like, we'd stop getting Cena cheered as much. And, like, it has been fixed a little bit because we're out of Vegas and it's not like that, like, marquee crowd or whatever.
Yeah.
But, Kansas City last night? We're in Kansas City. If Kansas City is still, playing how they want to play, this just might be how we're doing, how the crowds are going forward. So I saw a lot of discourse about, like this is the new challenge for WWE. What are they going to do? Are they going to lean into it? How is Triple H going to kind of book himself out of it so the crowd plays along? Which, again, and I'm in the camp where just like, if you're in the crowd, I've said this before, if you're in the crowd, you're a part of the show, play along. Sure, cheer for what, like, it's, I'm not saying if Braun Breaker does 3 spears to like sit there and have your arms crossed. Like, no, have fun at the show and go like, woo! But at like general stuff in terms of like a promo or like whatever, like play the right role.
Right.
But it is interesting to see like something happen. A switch got flipped. I think it is to your credit of like you do have a Seth Rollins where he's so justified, and then you have a Braun Breaker where he's so badass. It's hard to boo that sort of stuff. So I don't know, but you also don't want to just like, I don't know. Like I remember like back in the day when you know JBL was in every single like world title match, and all respect to JBL. Like now there's a Patreon question that we'll get to later on the Patreon that kind of talks about this, but JBL is kind of a slow worker, you know, and he's you know, now that I'm like older, I see like, oh, JBL was like one of the was one of the best of the time, you know, maybe you know, as he got older, a little slower, whatever. My point is I don't want to go back to having just like all the heels need to be slow and boring and not that great in the ring. I'd like when my heels like Braun Breaker and doing fucking crazy shit, you know?
That's true.
But you plant that JBL of 2005, 2006 in today, and he's getting booed because he's not doing fucking Frankensteiners and he's not whatever.
Some of his boos too are like get off my TV boos. I know that some friends of mine say, "Oh, he won the title. I'm no longer watching anymore."
Sure.
So there's that side of things too. Of like, you know, different types of heels. And,
and you don't want that either. Where you don't want people, especially today. I don't think you want like that real go away heat. That I guess we'll even kind of talk about a little later. So I don't know. It's a weird. And like I said, to say all that is to bring up different points. I'm not really sure where I take a stance on it, but it's really, really interesting where we're at with the crowds right now.
I think for this moment specifically is take it for what this moment is worth, which was the kind of the first instance of these two really flexing their muscles as a heel faction, and of course the crowd loved it, but that wasn't the ultimate goal to accomplish, because again you got your babyface Sami kind of like the crowd rooting for his demise, which again is what it is, but allowed them to with the weeks following build that heat, build that kind of resentment from the crowd in a certain manner, but. I mean, this was ultimately awesome, and I enjoyed the hell out of it.
And with all this, I think one last thing about the crowd is I think this goes all the way back to Cena Orton, where like you were saying, and I think it was a good point, and I agree with it. Where we're in St. Louis May 10th, that crowd, I would be shocked if there's more than 10% cheering for Cena, because we are in. That we're St. Louis, that's Randy's home turf. So I think I think that is even a step to like, kind of curb these crowds where, okay, let's put everything against the person who we want to get booed. It's Randy Orton. He's in his hometown. It's a world title match. It's against his arch rival of 25 years, whatever. If the crowd cheers Cena, what else can they do?
Cena will have I have the perfect solution.
Okay.
Cena will have to get on the mic and immediately do some kind of, hey, remember the St. Louis Rams, or because they left or whatever. So you gotta do something.
The Jazz suck. Yeah. So it's really interesting. I'm curious to kind of go back to this discussion in terms of the crowds and like as the weeks come. But it's interesting to see what they're gonna do with it. If maybe they don't care. They also might not give a shit. Who knows?
Exactly.
All right, we'll move on to great segment. This was for me, baby. Ooh, I love this. First of all, we got Rhea Ripley versus Roxanne Perez. Just that outright great.
Sign me up.
These two worked so well together. I'm excited to kind of come back to this and revisit it. Really, really good stuff. But you had Giulia making her presence felt, which I don't know what. I'm curious what the story is going to expand to. Like, why does Giulia have a problem with Rhea? Is it just because she's like, it could just be as simple as she's calling out the top dog, not, a top dog. She's not the world champion, but she's calling out a top dog. I want you. I'm curious what the feud is or whatever it's going to be, or the problem is, or if it's just NXT trying to invade. Who knows? Anyway, Giulia comes out, distracts Rhea. Rhea ends up grabbing Giulia. The match gets thrown out, and then They're fighting, they're beating each other down, whatever. Io Sky comes running in some yellow pants, great fit. Giulia, also sick pants, come running in. We get the team of Io Sky and Rhea Ripley standing tall against Giulia and Roxanne Perez. I'd be shocked if we're not leading to a tag team match here. Io Sky on Twitter alluded to, like, I'm going to take care of these two on NXT. So I don't know if things are happening on NXT tonight.
Might have to watch that tonight.
Something got called.
Yep.
But I love this. I love the team of, like, Rhea and Io, where they still have that. At the end of the day, they're friends. But they're also, as we saw last week, where Rhea kind of tugged at the title, where it's a mutual respect.
Fire. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's competitive fire. That's a good way to put it. Competitive fire, a very mutual respect, professionalism. Like, I'm still coming for that, but, like, I still have love for you, and, like, I respect you as a competitor to try to take on this Giulia Roxanne invasion. I love this. It's 4 of the most talented women in the industry, all just going at it. I love it. I love it. I'm fired up.
Loud mommy chants going through the arena.
Yeah.
Loved it. I don't love Michael Cole calling her mommy. That's my one picadillo. I just like Michael Cole. Relax. Perez working the knee like a pro.
Yeah,
like you read
dude.
about.
Yeah.
Power for speed dynamic was great in this match. Some intense exchanges. Rhea landed a delayed vertical suplex in a vicious razor's edge. Perez, I think it's like the death lock or whatever. It's head scissors DDT.
It's so cool.
A lot of near falls. A lot
Yeah.
of fun match. Unfortunately, another disqualification with interference.
Sure.
But this is the industry that we're in. But then look who interfered: Giulia, who's a massive star, and then of course a save from the GOAT. So I love this storyline progression. I thought this was a lot of fun.
You know what? Little tidbit, not tidbit. This little moment I liked in this match. You were saying, like, Roxanne was working the knee, which I thought was really good. There was a moment where I don't know if Roxanne was putting her in the ankle lock, but she had the foot. She had Rhea's foot, and Rhea like kicked her off, right? And normally you get kicked off once, and you go flying across the ring, you let go of the foot. Roxanne got kicked, even like went down, still had the foot. Got kicked again. Like there was like 3 instances where Roxanne got like batted off, and she still held on to that foot like a fucking alligator.
Perseverance, yeah.
And like that's it's added that like that real sort of like amateur wrestling sort of stuff in it, because there was moments in this match where these women were having some graps, So I like that. It was just like. In a fight or in amateur wrestling or whatever, you get kicked off once, you're still holding that foot. You're not just whatever. So I thought that was just a nice touch by. I'm gonna give credit to both a Roxanne and a Rhea for kind of putting together this match, or whoever the producer was. Whoever gets the credit gets the credit. But yeah, I love everything about this. I'm excited moving forward. A lot of NXT representation on Raw.
Yeah, I like them to wrap it up, like kind of draw the lines
about
a
it,
little
yeah.
bit. I mean, maybe I'm the stickler, and again, I'm not someone that watches every NXT episode, so maybe it's fine that they're on both shows and they're kind of doing double duty or whatever. But I'm someone that usually expects the draft to be soon, right after WrestleMania, so maybe we'll see some definitive roster splits and stuff that, to me, I'm a stickler for that stuff, so it's important. So I liked them to be like, because I guess like last week when Roxanne came out, she had like a little patch on her on her boot, and it said Raw debut, and I'm assuming that means like she's officially on Raw. So
that's kind of my problem. It's like while I like them being represented, and it's like it's advertisement for NXT, like, hey, come check out the best women's division in wrestling. And then meanwhile Raw also gets like the best women in wrestling, but. I've been talking about like, when is Roxanne getting called up? It's like she's still in NXT. She's now kind of reigniting this Cora Jade stuff down there. But then also like Giulia and Stephanie, that we'll talk about in a little bit, are both like fully being represented on Raw. And it's like, what's the call up? Like, are we? And I'm not complaining that we're getting these matches, but I'm just kind of curious or confused of like. I've seen reports too that like Giulia and Roxanne are like pretty next up to get the call up. But my point, and maybe it's kind of similar to what you were saying, was like, if you're going to do the call-up, let's just do it. Let's just make it official. Make Roxanne a Raw superstar. Make Giulia a Raw superstar. Or make more note of it, of how crazy it is that, like, NXT is on Raw.
Right.
Because I'm a little confused. But while I love it, yeah, I don't know. But it's that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know.
Draw the lines.
Yeah.
Or for our sake, cross the line. Shout out TNA for putting us
There
on.
you go. Yeah. I guess. Oh, we didn't even mention. We should have mentioned that at the top of the show. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, we shout out TNA. Whoever is, if there's a listener, whoever's working in the TNA editing room or WWE or whatever. Shout out TNA and thank you to TNA for putting us on their television program, kind of showcasing us reacting to the Joe Hendry spot / moment at WrestleMania. I lost my mind. I could talk about that. We were texting about it a little bit. I could talk about that for an hour. Really just like, what's the word? I mean, first of all, like cool. Cool is a word, but like, not justifying. I don't know, whatever word I'm trying to think of, where it's like, not like we made it. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say?
Rewarding?
I guess rewarding is I think rewarding, justifying, something like that of like, oh, cool. Like we're on the map. We got eyes on us, and like the future's bright. Like seeing us on TV was like, oh baby, this is the start. Like this is just the start.
On a
baby.
show that I
mean?
started watching in 2005. I remember seeing like, why are the Dudley Boys in this random show on Spike TV? Oh my god! Like, yeah. I mean, I woke up from that news or text from you. I'm like, oh dude, that is insane.
I was losing
all
my
friends.
mind.
Yeah.
I was so hyped. So yes, whoever, thank you, and thank you to people who, I got a couple tweets who people were watching TNA and they were like, we just saw Stache Club.
I think we're on Impact, and then they showed it again on Rebellion, I believe.
Okay,
so
that's
pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, they showed it like in the. I saw someone take a video of them in the arena, and they showed it on the fucking
cool.
thing. So I'm glad you brought that up because that fucking rocked. All right, we'll move on to something that might not have rocked as much, depending. We have Logan Paul calling out and challenging Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship at Backlash. This is pretty cut and dry, pretty standard Logan Paul stuff, pretty standard Jey Uso stuff, nothing crazy. And this is what we're getting. It's not official yet, but this is what we're getting at Backlash. I got two sides to this, but you start off. I'm curious where you're at initially.
Tell you what, man, I seen the IWC. I seen a lot of tears, and I'm not gonna drink these tears because I can understand not wanting to see Logan Paul on your television.
Fully.
But this man came off a huge win against one of the best in-ring technicians of all time at WrestleMania, AJ Styles. He's a credible opponent for Jey Uso, a literal heat magnet who can't even get a word off on the microphone. What you're supposed to do to heels,
right.
Which is, again, perfect counteracts Jay's beloved relationship with the crowd. And then, shout out Jey doing the Bret Hart glasses spot to the kid that beat cancer. And then, I think it's going to be a possibly a pretty good match too. And again, first, not to get into predictions, or whatever, but probably most likely a very good first win for Jey.
Yeah, I agree with all that. It kind of goes back to that point we were saying about with Randy in St. Louis trying to curb the audience or whatever. Like the crowd, I think the crowd, the in-arena crowd is still very, very behind Jey. Mm-hmm. However, we've seen it before where I think on a dime, you could all of a sudden have boos for Jey, and then you're like, uh-oh.
Well, depending on who is conversing or attacking Jey, you know? And I guess no one's going to be on Logan Paul's side.
That's the thing.
You have nothing to worry about with this opponent.
While I agree with everyone, am I necessarily excited for this match? No. Do I think it's going to be like a classic in-ring? No. I do think people are being very too quick to discredit Jey's in-ring. All of a sudden, there's just a narrative going around that Jey's a bad wrestler, and it's like, is he a fucking Kenny Omega or an AJ Styles or a Shawn Michaels? No, he's not.
Someone quote tweeted the highlight package of the Great Khali versus Kane and said, "This is Jey Uso versus Logan Paul." I'm like, all right.
See, I don't think it's to that extent. Also,
it's just for clicks and laughs, though,
And again, I don't like Logan Paul. I'm not excited to see Logan Paul on my TV. However, what happened to the narrative of this guy is pretty athletic? That, nothing's changed there. Nothing's changed in terms of him doing cool moves,
best finisher
or being
in the game,
solid in the ring. The pulverizer's electric. So again, while I am pro Logan Paul hate, it's it's like I think people are being too critical instantly about all this. And granted, and to say all that, like, do I wish it was something else? Yes.
Yeah.
Like if I even to go back where people are like, I'm glad that Jey won, but sure, if in an alternate universe this was like, this was Gunther versus AJ Styles, would that be a better match? Of course that's a better match.
Sounds awesome.
Of course it's a better match. No one's arguing that.
Yeah.
But the point is, and to kind of reiterate what you were saying, and it's what I agree with, is they're trying to push and keep Jey Uso as one of, if not the top babyface in the company, next to a Cody, next to a Rhea, next to an EO. And what better opponent than Logan Paul, who gets genuine heat, who gets real life heat, who people are gonna boo regardless of who he's facing. So you're getting that push for Jey. On paper, it's all great. Like I said, I don't think the match is gonna be great, which is that is arguably the point. Like, you're supposed to put on good matches in a wrestling company.
Yeah, for sure.
So like that's also, it's so, I'm not disagreeing with people on that. Like, it's so credible. I just think you gotta look at the bigger picture here and see, like, this is a great first title defense against a massive heel that people hate, and there's going to be no worry about the crowd being funny and turning on Jey and whatever, and then you kind of build off this. So, like, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Star power, too. I mean, you got to think of the little kids that watch this product, too. They know Logan Paul. They're really into Jey Uso.
Right.
It's gonna be a big time match for sure. And I think too, like, maybe these guys too. I mean, Jay's just been hearing it for a long time with his criticisms of his in-ring work, but now Logan's kind of getting roped into this, like, oh, this match is gonna stink. So maybe that puts a chip on both their shoulders, and they show out a Backlash.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just don't know what the problem is with letting some young guys go and prove it themselves. That's what you want. And granted, like, again, I've always admitted that Logan Paul is very athletic. He's a natural in the ring. Jey Uso, very athletic, doesn't get the credit he deserves, or gets discredited a lot. So, like, and to people's credit, like, sure, most times in recent Jey Uso singles matches and Logan Paul singles matches, their dance partner has been great. So they've been able to help or call the match or whatever. So it's going to be interesting to see how, I would imagine Jey is the one to kind of step up and maybe call / lead the match or whatever. I just don't. I don't see pushing this to the side before it even happens. And here's the thing: if this match happens and it's a stinker, I'm not going to come on here and be like, "Well, it did push the narrative forward." I'm going to be like, "Yeah, that match sucked."
Yeah.
Sure, it's still like on paper, it's still a good win. Let's move on from this. Like, I'm not gonna take this to my grave. But let's see where it goes.
Yeah,
why not? Let's see where it goes.
And for during the segment, a little triggered by Jey Uso's punk ass YouTuber comment. You got something to say, Jey Uso? Let me know.
The reason why
you ain't the only one that's a champion right now, Big Us. And then another thing that Paul actually annoyed me with, and he's regurgitated this a few times in his feuds with people. Paul's, I've done more in 4 years than you've done in 15 years. Well, Logan Paul, no, you haven't, because you literally said the reason why you're doing this because you haven't won a world title. Jay's won a world title.
Right.
Jey Uso's main event WrestleMania. You haven't main evented WrestleMania. So shut the fuck up with this. I've done more in 4 years, and no, like, stop
it's
that.
just blatantly not
that
true.
worked in a feud with like LA Knight or whatever, but not with Jey Uso. So shut your mouth with that.
All right, we'll move on to this is pretty cut and dry here, but we have the War Raiders defeating JD McDonough and Finn Balor with the help of Penta, kind of getting his revenge on JD McDonough from last week to earn their number one contender spot for the New Day's tag titles. So we're getting a rematch of the War Raiders versus New Day. When? Maybe next week on Raw. Don't really know. This is all just fine. I love that Penta's in it. I love Penta's involved. I love that he was doing his walk on the fucking announce table.
The MVP of Raw. Easily.
Yeah. But like, this is... and the War Raiders are talented. Scar, go ahead.
A bit of a disappointing first match back for JD, my boy,
Yeah, I like that he did do the moonsault, the springboard moonsault to the outside on the other side of the ring.
Oh, yeah.
And he kind of landed it, and you could kind of see he like a genuine just like, okay, I'm back. Like, I'm good. Honestly, the highlight of this was New Day on commentary.
Yeah.
They were
colorful.
funny.
Yeah,
and
they were very colorful.
Giving shit to Cole. Even like Woods, like calling Cole out, like like, hey, call the moves in the match. Like, call the, just like, they're
Calling
so
Ivar
good.
fat. Like, I'm like, damn, dude.
Oh,
like,
great. He's fat. It's impressive.
Yeah. Like, being like, pretty funny ass heels on they were definitely probably the high of this match, too. And I like seeing the War Raiders, like,
they're great.
Bring these, drag these guys like, rag dolls, I thought this match served a good purpose. And, and two, it's tough, you coming off a title loss at WrestleMania. If you're the War Raiders, you lost your titles. Like, definitely a much needed momentum win for them.
This is, I think, like, sure, Penta's involved, but I think a lot of the story, too, we kind of saw backstage. I skipped over it, but, excuse me, Liv Morgan is kind of now stepping up as, like, the leader of Judgment Day, right? And she's the one that kind of was like, oh, JD, remember like your tag team match? I forget if it was like if Liv like made the match or was the one that pushed it. Either way, Finn's just been out in the dark. What do you mean? What do you mean number one contenders match? My takeaway here is that JD and Finn are gonna come back to that locker room, and Liv's gonna be pretty disappointed. Like, what happened? I thought we were bringing gold back, whatever. So I'm excited to see at least the progression there of Liv like stepping up and being this like growing into maybe a maniacal sort of like crazy faction leader, which I think would be
Puppet Master.
Awesome spot. Yeah, and like Liv Morgan as a big faction leader just sounds it's such a cool spot for her. It's something we haven't really seen. I think oftentimes you can call it back to like the Riot Squad, where she's always been a team player. I want to see her leading this shit.
Hell
and
yeah.
like you said, Puppet Master,
But
whatever.
I don't think you're gonna get it at least very soon, because she's going to Hollywood.
Yeah, I saw that. She's gonna be it's gonna be unveiled soon. That apparently she's in like a movie.
Yeah, I seen a big Hollywood film that she's gonna be a part of. I don't know if any like details are specifically out. I originally remember seeing a lot of headlines of like, oh, she's about to have a big week, which I definitely I brought that to being like, oh, it's gonna be obviously on WWE television, but apparently she's getting a big movie role.
So via Sean Ross Sapp, it says the claim from people who would know about Liv Morgan's upcoming film project is that a lot of people's jaws will drop when it's revealed in due time.
Oh, I am seated. I can't wait. What could this be?
Whoa. This is. I don't want to put expectations out. I'm trying to think what movie could be coming up, but I'm gonna stake my claim. No.
Well, I mean, what do you like? Do you think the movie's already made, or like she's going to be off TV to shoot the movie, or like you think
it's a great question?
Yeah,
I don't know the way that's taught. Like this tells me like upcoming film project. I don't know. I don't know. It's a good point.
She looks like Harley Quinn.
That was what I was going to say.
I'm sorry to blow that.
No. But like the reason I was so hesitant on it is because like they did already shoot the Batman 2. Like the Batman 2, I think is done. Maybe
or
maybe they paused it to throw in Harley Quinn. If she's listen. If Liv Morgan is sharing a screen with Robert Pattinson, bro.
Oh, let's go.
I already have my hot take that I think Robert Pattinson's the best Batman.
Ooh, give me some for that, dude. Give me some for that.
I love the Dark Knight series, the best Batman movies. Yeah. Like the no shot. You're not touching Christopher Nolan and fucking what's his face. It's like a similar name to Christopher Nolan. What's the fuck's the
Reeves
name?
is Superman. Michael Keaton?
No. I mean, respect to Keaton. I love Keaton. But the guy who played Batman in the Dark Knight. What's his name? Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale's great. Robert, we'll get back to wrestling in a second, but Robert Pattinson, I love this, like, he's like young emo Batman, and it's like, I think he can grow into a really great role.
Listening to Nirvana.
Yeah, and I also love the Batman, too.
That was a great film, man.
I'm still not saying that, like the Dark Knight series so far still clears, but like I said, if we now get Liv Morgan injected into that movie, brother. Wow! Holy shit! I'm fired up.
I know, but now we put expectations.
It's gonna be like some It's still gonna be cool. I'm sure. Did you see the trailer for The Rock's new A24 movie came out? I didn't see the trailer.
It's really freaking good trailer.
Yeah.
I'm like really excited for it. I guess he's portraying
it's a boxer, right?
Upcoming UFC fighter.
Oh, it's a UFC fighter
from like way back. I think it could be like Pride or like this in the organizations before UFC, and then like bleeding into the beginnings of UFC, where they were getting paid like a hamburger for a fight. So it looks really well done. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a sucker for the anything A24. Sign me up. I think it's Benny Safdie, who's directing it. Which the Safdie brothers, or I think Benny did Good Time with also Robert Pattinson in it. The Safdie brothers are great. So I'm really excited for that. There's another movie trailer that came out today, or like the other day, that was like pretty hyped. I forget what it is. We can talk on the Patreon. All right. Anyway, we'll wrap up here. I hate not knowing things. I want to know what. Okay, wait. Via PW Insider 12 hours ago, Liv Morgan's film project will be officially unveiled next week, in which she has a major role.
Dude.
Liv Morgan's film project. Okay, yeah, just a bunch of the same reports, blah blah.
She's beautiful.
Oh, people are saying Spider-Man 4. She plays Gwen Stacy.
Okay, but what do you mean Spider-Man 4? Like from the Tobey Maguire series, Spider-Man 4?
Probably Tom Holland. Yeah. I don't think they're bringing back
Tobey Maguire is my Spider-Man. He's the only Spider-Man.
I agree. He's the best. He's the best. I think Tobey's the best Spider-Man. It's heavy nostalgia. I think Tobey's best. For me, it goes Tobey, Tom. What's his face? The third guy.
Miles.
No, the guy, the Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
Also the Spider-Verse movies though. Woo! All right, we'll go back to wrestling.
Wrestling.
But I am going to tweet out that Batman conspiracy.
Ooh.
Okay. We have a couple more things. We're going to hop on over to the Patreon. We have a Becky Lynch promo where she came out and tried to kind of justify her heel turn and what happened. She goes, which I don't know. I didn't love this. I'll say at the bat now, I didn't love this. I love the result of this and what we're getting. But Becky's like, which I like that they leaned on the fact that like, I pushed Bayley out of Mania. I'm the reason that Bayley didn't get her spot, whether she took her out physically or not, whatever. I like they're playing on that because that is a real thing of like, hey, what the hell, Bayley got pushed out. So they're playing on that, which was good, but really leaned into like, I hate Bayley. And like, yes, they do have history. They do have feuds, but like, it feels like it's just like history brought up again for the sake of needing justification.
Yeah.
Like there hasn't really been much of just like anything to justify it today. And then she kind of leads into what that means for Lyra. She's like, like Lyra was one of my best friends. I love Lyra. And I'm mad at Lyra because she's siding with Bayley, who I'm now deciding that I hate.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. Lyra came out, held her own on the mic. Says that like, you're just mad at me because I beat you for the NXT title and this, that, and the other. They brawl for a little bit. Becky runs off, and it looks like we're going to Lyra versus Becky at Backlash for the IC title, which is what I like. Like the result of this, like this match is gonna be sick. It's very maybe mentor versus mentoree, whatever. But this felt a little muddy to me. I don't know how you felt about it.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. It was also a little unfortunate too, where I think I like Becky as a heel more than when she's a face. I think her promo and her character is a lot more effective when she has that fire as a bad guy. Telling Lyra she should have ditched that bitch. I thought was pretty crazy.
I like that line.
Yeah, that definitely perked up my ears a little bit.
Bitch.
Then Lyra came out and she starts to get on the microphone and she's like, she hasn't totally found her footing yet. And then like the crowd giving her the what chance was super fucking annoying.
That was tough.
She did overcome it though.
She did.
And like you said, too, where we're going with this has me excited. The segment, of course, ended with the wrecking ball drop kick, which I was like, like Becky got smacked. I think this would be. I'm hoping we get a Lyra defense against Becky, because again, I don't think Becky needs the IC title, and like kind of going back to what you said, I think maybe last week or the week before, where like you have these established world champions going for mid card titles. It's like, why are you doing this a little bit?
Tell you what, though, I don't know how confident I am in Lyra retaining. I could really see Becky taking this IC title off her. I really could.
Okay.
But with how weird of a card that we have for Backlash, I think this might steal the show. Like the card is so strange.
Yeah, we'll see. Cause I mean, Lyra pointed out too, she's at this point in her career a much better wrestler than Becky. So I kind of have some suspicion, like, can Becky still go?
Sure.
Well, we're gonna find out at Backlash, hopefully.
I move on to Stephanie Vaquer defeating Ivy Nile in a very fun match. One of Ivy Nile's best. We have the NXT champion just kind of going over here, showcasing. And this is kind of like Chad Gable, like, helped out Ivy a little bit, blah, blah.
2 devil's kisses. 2 of them.
I know.
Yeah, 2 of them.
Know.
What a blessing.
The second one, they came back from commercial and she's like already in it. Whatever. My favorite part about that move is how it's so over with the crowd. Where now the move is for the heel to block it and make the crowd wait for the move.
Yes,
like they've done it like 2 or 3. The last like 2 or 3 Stephanie matches, they've done it where like she gets it locked in and the heel sneaks out and the whole crowd goes, boo!
Give us what we want.
But I mean, Stephanie is a superstar. They have a good. It's a good problem with the NXT division where like Raw and Smack, the main roster, Triple H wants these women because they are already mega stars. Stephanie is so over, and then you also look at like a Jordan Grace, a Giulia, a Roxanne. So it's tough for. I think that's part of the reason why they keep on showing up, because Triple H is like, I want them, bring them on my show.
Totally.
This was great. I'm really curious who's getting the official call up, whether that's Roxanne officially, is Giulia getting called up, is Stephanie just going to jump the line? I think she already fits super well on the main roster.
Man, she's a star. I tweeted out last night, if any bookmakers want to take this action from me, I'm a betting man. I don't know what the line would be, but give me Stephanie Vaquer to main event a WrestleMania one day.
I like that.
I'll place a large wager right now with you. I think she will. This woman is just like, you look at her, she's a star. And again, I'm an NXT casual, at least in the recent year or so. And so I haven't like experienced totally the Stephanie run in NXT. So I'm kind of getting her for now on Raw. And let me tell you, I need more of her.
She's so sick.
She's awesome.
Yep. I think I think we need to place a time constraint on that bet. I think you need, sure. Oh, well, at any time, sure. But I think you need to give us a little bit of
when she has her Twilight year wonder, when she's like 50 years old and she comes back for one last run. Oh, I got it.
I would say I thought your tweet was next year. Was that 42?
Oh, that's a bit too much. And then of course what benefits my wager is there's 2 nights now. I'm not sure if you know about this, but
I've heard.
I would say, go back to our Family Feud video, the next 5 years. Give me the next 5 years.
That's fair. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, to close out the show, our show, we have Pat McAfee challenging Gunther at Backlash. A lot that's said here. Admittedly a fiery Pat promo where he's like, he's saying, I donated to here. I did all these good charitable things. I am the most watched this, and people know my name now. And not once mentioning his NFL career, which I thought was funny. He not once mentioned he was like a punter.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he says all these things, blah, blah. And then he finally gets into like Michael Cole, the GOAT. I'm going to defend my friend, Michael Cole. If anyone lays hands on him, they got a problem with me. It says, I want Gunther at Backlash. He says, this line got me, where he says, SmackDown's version of Adam Pearce. Come on out.
That was so funny.
Nick Aldis, he basically says, like, if you want it, sure, whatever. So it looks like we're getting Pat McAfee versus Gunther to just add on to how weird Backlash is. This kind of is the cherry on top. I'm not mad at it. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't like it. I don't love it.
This guy, let me try to sell you on it. This guy is more than just a loud mouth in shorts. If you go way back, and again, given this was like 5 years ago, and since then Pat's been hitting the Benjamin. He's been drinking beers. Like he's definitely, and of course he's not an in-ring competitor every week, and now he's going up against the Ring General, former world champion Gunther. But you go back to his feud with Adam Cole in NXT many years ago.
Sure.
This guy can go.
He's got a moonsault in him.
He's an athlete. And then with this promo, I thought this promo was fantastic. I got fired up, and of course he stands up on the desk and he Pittsburgh proud. The stuff like, oh, on my tombstone, I want, gave millions, love my homies,
hard worker,
and left the world a better place, which, like, dude, I can relate to. I want the same thing on my tombstone, hopefully. And then, of course, like the bromance of Michael Cole, love it.
Your favorite commentator's favorite commentator. I'll tell you this, I think he's the GOAT.
And of course, calling Gunther, what was it, Austrian asshole. That was great. Yeah, definitely just like feels a bit random. I'm seeing some talks of like this will be kind of the laying the crumbs for a big return during this match at Backlash. Goldberg.
Oh, jeez.
Which again, like I know.
Oh my god.
I would love to hear what you think of a Goldberg Gunther match in 2025.
Not into it. I'm into it if Gunther squashes him. And knowing Goldberg, I don't think that's on the table.
Well, then also knowing Goldberg too, it's going to be a retirement match. You got to think like a retirement match. He's probably going to want to go out on top, even though it's like it's tradition to kind of go out in your back. But I would love it though too if Gunther were to squash Goldberg at SummerSlam. If this was the plan, like Gunther. Well, for sure, I hope Gunther takes care of Pat McAfee. I want some spots because I think Pat can go give me a nice convincing punt from the punter in the match, and maybe some hope spots. But ultimately, Gunther better choke this dude out.
Yeah, Gunther's got it. Sure, like I'm with you. I do want to see Pat McAfee pull out his moonsault or like do something like, oh yeah, that was cool. But like, yeah, Gunther's got to kill him. If there's too much offense from Pat, it's like,
come on,
what are we doing? I've seen that's like the biggest discourse. Like, what happened to my ring general?
Right. I think the ring general will show out in this match and get a decently squash match, but this will lead up to a returning Goldberg for maybe a SummerSlam match, to go back to where he was world champion and he kind of punked out Bret Hart and said, "Oh, my favorite world champion's Goldberg." And then didn't they tease Goldberg?
At whatever, I don't know if it wasn't Bad Blood. No, it was something like that.
He showed up though, right?
He showed up. Yeah. Gunther cut a promo. I want to say it was at Bad Blood, but I'm probably off on that.
I think you're right.
And Gunther was in the Goldberg was in the crowd. And they did a little tease, and like that was it. That was it for like months. So like I don't know what happened. I don't think I'm gonna hate it as much as most people because like it's two big men. Like Gunther's also one of the best. Like if there's anyone that's gonna carry a Goldberg match to being like, oh, that was solid, it's Gunther. Yeah, so like I'm not.
And two, like you probably ask Gunther himself. Like, oh, do you want a SummerSlam match against Goldberg?
It's pretty cool.
His retirement match.
It's pretty cool.
I'm sure he's gonna want that. Yeah. And then, but hopefully they do the right thing and realize what they have in Gunther and put him over Goldberg. But maybe they won't. And it'll be a special moment,
I think this Pat match, whatever happens in this Pat match, will be a look into how they're treating Gunther and then what the potential could be with that Goldberg stuff.
For sure.
This is a Backlash. Is strange, dude. Backlash is a weird card, but yeah. Well, with that said, that's the show, folks. We are going to, we're gonna hop over to the Patreon.
Join us.
Patreon.com/Stache Club Wrestling. We're gonna take a bunch of your questions. Oh, I have a story for you.
Ooh, let's go.
I got a story for you, dude. I'm at war with a laundromat. So
let's go.
That's a little teaser. Head over there, like I said, patreon.com/Stache Club Wrestling for $5 a month. You get new episodes every single week, exclusive, and the entire back catalog you can catch up on. All right, with that said, please check out everything, false and everything. You get the deal, blah blah. Catch us all week on the channel. New videos being posted all week. Check out everything that's come up. And then Jimmy, you're getting awfully comfy with that title.
I love it so much.
May 10th is coming up.
Oh, May 10th.
May 10th is coming up.
I'm a fighting champion. Bring it on,
folks. I'll see you next time. I'll see you over on the Patreon. Peace. I got a story. I got a tale. I got a problem. I got an issue.
Let's go.
So, all right, listen to this. She goes, "Never come back here again." And I just go, at this point, she's just going off the rails. So I turn around, I start to walk away. Are people taking turns, or is this like 100 all at once?
100 all at once.
That's what I mean. If it's 100 all at once, which granted, there's gonna be a lot of people waiting their turn.
I legit checked my closet for the big show.
I
was like that scared. I'm like, dude, like
Nathan for You, one of my favorite shows of all time.
So
I fucking love Nathan for You.